It was supposed to be a simple workout. Instead, I ended up half naked with my hands shoved into the wrong damn locker, staring at a stranger's perfectly folded shirt and cologne bottle like I was committing a federal crime. The worst part? The stranger wasn't just anyone, was the gym's most feared trainer. He found me like that, frozen, guilty, and clutching his deodorant like it was evidence in a courtroom. His stare was sharp, unyielding, the kind of look that could turn a grown man into dust. I had heard rumors about him, Ethan, the trainer who never smiled, the one people swore trained like the devil himself. And there I was, standing in front of him, wearing the wrong damn shorts. Locker mix-up, I stammered, trying to sound casual, but my voice cracked like a teenage boy's. His jaw flexed, and for a long, agonizing second, he said nothing. Then, with a slow exhale, he leaned against the bench, eyes narrowing. "You used my locker." It wasn't a question. It was an indictment. The truth is, I wasn't even supposed to be at that gym. My buddy had gotten me a 1-week pass, swearing it was the best place in town. And I had thought, why not? New year, new me. Except the new me apparently came with a talent for pissing off men built like Greek gods. "I didn't mean to. You smell like my cologne." His voice was low, almost dangerous. He pushed off the bench, stepping closer until I had to tilt my head back to meet his gaze. "That doesn't just wash off, you know?" I swallowed hard, feeling heat rush up my neck. It wasn't just his words, it was the way he said them, deliberate, slow, like he knew he was unraveling me. "So what's the punishment?" I tried to joke, though my smile wobbled. His lips curved not into a smile, but something sharper. "1 date. With me. You owe me that much." I blinked. "A date?" "Yeah." His eyes didn't leave mine, steady and unreadable. "Unless you want everyone in this gym to know you've been sniffing around in my locker." The audacity. The absolute audacity. But also, why did my stomach flip like I'd just been called out in the best way possible? I wanted to say no, to tell him he was insane. But instead, I found myself nodding, my voice betraying me. "Fine. 1 date." And that's how it began my reluctant deal with the cold-hearted trainer. The first thing I learned about Ethan was that he wasn't just cold. He was frozen, like a lake in the dead of winter. He trained clients with the precision of a drill sergeant, barked commands without mercy, and never, not once, let his mask slip. But with me, something was different. On the day of our date, he didn't take me anywhere fancy. Instead, he showed up outside my crummy apartment in a beat-up truck, leaning against the hood like some dark, brooding cowboy. "Ready?" he asked, as if this were the most normal thing in the world. "Where are we going?" "You'll see." Turns out, "you'll see" meant a late-night diner off the highway, the kind with peeling vinyl booths and neon lights that flickered just enough to remind you life wasn't perfect. We sat across from each other, and for the first time, he wasn't my warden. He was just, "Ethan, you ever think about why people come to gyms?" he asked, stirring his black coffee. "To get fit, I guessed." He shook his head, eyes fixed on the swirling liquid. "They come because they want control. Over their bodies. Over something. Because everywhere else in their life feels like chaos." The way he said it, quiet but heavy, made my chest ache. I wondered how much chaos he carried inside him. "And you?" I asked. "Why did you become a trainer?" For the first time, he looked vulnerable. His mouth opened, then closed, like he wasn't sure if he trusted me enough to answer. Finally, he said, "Because it was either this, or lose myself completely." I didn't push. I just let the silence settle, and for once, it wasn't uncomfortable. It was almost intimate. That night, I realized Ethan wasn't the villain I had painted him to be. He was a man holding himself together with discipline, with walls so high most people never got a glimpse of what was behind them. And somehow, by accident or fate, I had climbed over. The weeks that followed were a blur of tension and tenderness. Our deal should have ended after 1 date, but Ethan kept finding excuses. "Come spot me," he'd say after his shift. "Run with me," he'd text at dawn. "Eat with me," he'd mutter like it wasn't a request but a command. And I went every single time. because somewhere between his sharp edges and rare moments of softness, I was falling. But falling for Ethan wasn't easy. He had rules lines he refused to cross. Sometimes, I'd catch him staring at me like he wanted more, like he was seconds away from closing the space between us. But then he'd retreat, the coldness snapping back into place. It was torture, sweet and cruel all at once. One night, after we closed down the gym together, I finally broke. "You can't keep doing this," I said, my voice trembling. "You can't keep pulling me close and then pushing me away. What are we even doing, Ethan?" For a long time, he just stared at me. The fluorescent lights hummed above us, casting shadows across his face. "I don't know how to do this," he admitted, his voice low, raw. "I don't know how to let someone in without breaking apart." And then finally kissed me. It wasn't gentle. It was desperate, hungry, like he had been holding back for years and the dam had finally burst. His hands gripped my shirt, pulling me against him, and I melted, every wall between us collapsing. For once, the cold-hearted trainer wasn't cold at all. That was the beginning of us. But in America, nothing is simple, not love, not acceptance, not two men daring to want each other in a world still learning how to understand. And soon, the cracks in Ethan's armor would show me just how much he had been hiding and how much we both stood to lose. Life has a cruel way of testing love, of dragging every buried secret into the light when you least expect it. For Ethan, that secret came in the form of his father, showing up at the gym like a storm that had been waiting years to break. The man was bitter, sharp-eyed, and still carried the kind of authority that could make Ethan's shoulders tense the moment he saw him. I was there, wiping down weights, when their eyes locked across the room. "Still wasting your life on this?" his father sneered, glancing at Ethan's clients, at the rows of treadmills. "Training soft boys instead of being the man you're supposed to be?" The words cut deeper than any blade. I saw Ethan's jaw tighten, his hands curl into fists, but he didn't speak. He just swallowed it like he had been swallowing pain his whole life. And in that moment, I understood why he had been so afraid to let me in. Love wasn't the only weight Ethan carried. It was shame, expectation, the fear of being rejected by the very man who was supposed to love him unconditionally. When his father left, slamming the door like a final insult, Ethan didn't look at me. He just walked into the locker room and shut himself inside. I stood there, heart pounding, before finally following him. He was sitting on the bench, head in his hands, trembling in a way I had never seen before. "You don't have to be him," I said softly, kneeling in front of him. "You don't have to carry his voice in your head. You're more than that, Ethan. So much more." His eyes lifted to mine, wet and raw. "And what if I'm not enough for you? What if I ruin this too?" "You won't," I whispered, "because I'm not leaving." That was the night something broke open inside him. He let me hold him, let me see every crack, every scar. And for once, he didn't push me away. The weeks after were fragile but beautiful. Ethan stopped hiding. He started laughing more, even if just a little, and when he smiled, really smiled, it was like watching the sun rise after years of darkness. But the world outside didn't always understand. Some clients at the gym whispered. A few left. Ethan didn't flinch. He stood taller, shoulders squared, and when one man muttered something cruel as he walked past, Ethan simply put an arm around me and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "This is the person I love. Get used to it." I think my heart nearly burst right there in the middle of that fluorescent-lit gym. Our love wasn't perfect. We argued, we stumbled. Ethan still struggled with his past, and I still doubted myself, wondering if I was strong enough to carry the weight of his demons. But love, real love, isn't about being perfect, it's about showing up, even when it's hard. And Ethan showed up. Every damn day. One autumn evening, months after the locker room incident that had started it all, we found ourselves walking through the park, the world glowing in shades of orange and gold. The air was cool, crisp, and for once, there was no tension, no fear, just us. Ethan stopped under a streetlight, the glow painting his face in warmth. He looked at me like he was memorizing every detail, like he was afraid I might disappear. "I never thought I'd get this," he admitted quietly. Not just you, but this feeling. Peace. Belonging. I reached for his hand, threading my fingers through his. You deserve it, Ethan. Every piece of it. He took a shaky breath, then smiled, the kind of smile that reached his eyes, that erased every trace of the man who used to hide behind walls. I don't know how our story started with a stolen locker, he said, chuckling softly, but I'm glad it did. Me too, I whispered, leaning in, and under that streetlight, with autumn leaves drifting around us, he kissed Menet with desperation this time, but with certainty, with love. It was gentle, grounding, the kind of kiss that told me we had finally arrived. That after all the chaos, the fear, the pain, we had built something worth keeping. So maybe I didn't just walk into the wrong locker that day. Maybe I walked straight into the right kind of trouble, the kind that changes your life forever. And if this is the price of a mistake, if this is what it means to pay up for using the wrong locker, then I'd make the same mistake 1,000 times over. Because the cold-hearted trainer wasn't cold at all. He was just waiting for someone to see him, to stay, to love him. And that someone somehow was me. That was the end of our story. Not perfect, not without scars, but real. And sometimes, real is better than perfect. Because real is love that survives the weight of the world and still chooses to stay. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.